Hi, Professor. This is my reflective vlog for the Module 8 assignment, in which we were instructed to watch a video and discuss or answer a few prompts and questions. So, from my understanding from the book and from supportive and supplemental readings, self-awareness and family assessment allows for the social worker to not only understand a client's experience within their own cultural, relational, and systemic context, but it also allows for the social worker to reflect on their own biases, their own beliefs, and their own emotional responses, and how they may influence the assessment process. So self-awareness, as it pertains to family assessment, allows for reduced biases, right, ultimately enhancing objectivity. It supports culturally responsive and competent practice by tuning in more to the individual and the family's culture rather than the social worker's kind of biases and ideas of what it should mean to kind of function in a family. It also promotes the ethical practice set in place by the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics. Moving on to the next question, how does cultural values influence beliefs and values about family membership and functioning? So, cultural values essentially shape how individuals and communities define family membership and how they interpret family functioning and family roles. So, in a way, I'm African American. So, my culture views family systems, right? Family dynamics, roles, authority, and hierarchy in one way that differs from people of Latinx origins or somebody who might be Asian or Pacific Islander or indigenous, right? So each culture has their own way of kind of defining family and what that looks like in general. And some of these ways, like I said, that some ways in which cultural values influence family memberships can include the very definition of family, right? So who is included in that definition? Is it just the immediate family, right? Mom, dad, and siblings? Or does it kind of extend out to that extended family where it includes grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins? It also kind of looks like the types of the family dynamics and functions of the family, any roles and hierarchies, especially as it pertains to power, right? So, is the power given to the older adults in the family, or is it kept strictly for the parents within that immediate family? And then also furthermore, what does the roles look like among the family members? So how does the role of the elders differ from the parents, which differ from the children? It can also include communication styles, parenting practice, and exclusion and exclusion as well. So who's kept inside that kind of family membership, and who's not. So, what personal beliefs and values about family membership and functioning were you made aware of while watching the video? So, while I was watching the video, some of my personal beliefs and values about family membership and functioning included that the family itself, towards the beginning of the video, was essentially I can assume, right, the traditional family value, right? When we think of family, that's what we think about having, maybe not with the extended family, but having like a formal dinner, sitting down, talking about accomplishments, talking about their days, discussing or just discussing topics that are related to the family members, and just kind of exchanging proper communication. Using the family systems framework, how might this family be defined based on video clip? So the family in the video could be defined as one that includes rigid and hierarchical family systems, competitive communication patterns, and limited emotional responsiveness. So, and we can see this, right, with like, for example, with poor emotional values, or excuse me, poor emotional boundaries with Andrew or Andy, in which kind of during the family dinner, they kind of ridiculed him and they kind of made fun of what he was doing. And when he tried to kind of defend himself or kind of talk about, hey, this is how I see this, the family members kind of overstep that boundary multiple times. We can also see it with the hierarchical and power, right? So the authority and value as it's determined by conventional successes. So that is including like academic success, being successful in a sport or a trade, um, or being successful in these traditional values. So not really like necessarily the arts or something more liberal, um, in that manner. And then also on communication styles, right? This family also had a lot of like sarcasm and unhelpful use of humor. There's a lot of comparison as well, and comparison and competition, and then a lot of put downs as well, which was mainly directed towards Andrew. So using this family systems framework, briefly describe how the family experiences functioning. So from my kind of interpretation of the video, this family kind of is marked by, like I said, rigid boundaries, hierarchical power dynamics, and emotionally invalidating communication. This system, in a way, maintains a homeostasis functioning by reinforcing conformity and suppressing dissonance. So ultimately, in order to maintain stability within that family, you have to function and act as part of the family, and engage in their views of traditional family values in order for that family to maintain that stability. What beliefs and values about family membership and functioning might be illustrated from the video? So, some beliefs that could be illustrated from this video that I noted um, could include success as measured by achievements, right? That's just the academics, the athletic, the social, versus Andrew's artistic. It could also include that hierarchy and authority, which is reinforced through comparison. And then the emotional expression and individuality is suppressed or even invalidated, right? This discourages vulnerability, individuality, and divergence from what is considered the traditional family value that's set in place by the elders, or by that is set in place by those who have that authority. So moving on to the next question, I answered that this family, or working with this family, would challenge my own personal beliefs. Mainly just because I envision family membership and functioning more as a collaborative and emotionally responsive system in which members of the family display more inclusive communication styles. They protect and uphold boundaries while also fostering inclusive approach. So ultimately, as a social worker, in order to build that authentic relationship, I would prioritize empathy, curiosity, and non-judgmental engagement in order to build up that authentic relationship and that therapeutic relationship as well. And this could look like, validating multiple perspectives and not just focusing solely on Andrew, approaching it with a culturally responsive and competent lens, and also modeling what vulnerability and respect look like. Lastly, um, the a specialized family assessment strategy that I would use after doing some more reading as well would possibly be the social support network map, as cited by Tracy and Whitaker in our textbook. This social support network map highlights emotional gaps and disparities within the family. It also identifies external sources of validation, which could be extremely useful in Andrew's situation, and it also kind of defines the boundaries and defines, this supportive and critical relationship, and can provide a sort of cognitive reformation for the family. Thank you for watching this video.